Hello.
Halo, halo, ya. Nama Eben. Halo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, okay, I can hear you also. I'll on my video for a while. Just a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Wait, let me do something about that. Okay, right. Nice to meet you. I believe this is the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Phillips, so Eben. How do I call you, Eben?
Eben is fine.
Eben is fine. And English, you sure? Not Indonesian?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. That's okay. Um, all I know right now is that your dad contacted me and your dad said something about physics and chemistry. That's all I know. Okay. Standard stuff. Let's do trial first. The most important thing is for you to find out whether or to have a feel whether this is suitable for you or not. Right? You're still Sec 3, right, Evan?
Yeah.
If you don't feel this is suitable, there is still a lot of time for you to find some other form of help, if that is really what you need, right? It is Sec 4 a bit different. So I totally encourage you to think through whether this works for you or not. Okay, this 1 hour trial should help, right? This is just standard for all uh, students. I don't assume that they'll be a student just because their parents say so. Okay, which brings me to the second question. Whose idea is it? Not for the trial, but for this whole tuition thing. Is it your idea? Is it your dad's idea? Is it your parents' idea?
My dad's idea.
All right. Then what do you think?
I think I need the help, so I don't mind the tuition.
Hmm. Your first time having tuition?
No. I already have regular Chinese tuition.
Well, Chinese cannot help. Yeah, that one. That one is just that's it lah. Right. Okay, I understand. Um, if you have expectations, bring them all in and check with what's happening this 1 hour. This tuition might be very different from what you think, or it might be exactly what you think. Who knows? But bring them all in, right? So that after this 1 hour, you feel that you know something, and then you can tell your dad what you think. Hopefully, the idea is no longer just your dad's, but you think that it's a good thing. All right? Okay. If you think that's a bad thing, you should also tell your dad, and that's totally fine. Okay. Right. From my side, I already tell you, in case you are continuing, I do need to know where you are. Okay. Now in this tuition, our face is not important. Pretty soon, we can just turn off our video and then we'll focus on the Jamboard, right? You'll be writing with your finger. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, the initiative is yours. I am very familiar with what's happening in physics and chemistry right now. Is it combined or is it pure? Sorry, I haven't clarified.
Pure.
Here. That means you are a math student, lah. Am I correct? So why do you take this you know, this route? A lot of work, lah, right? A lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you choose all this, if I may know?
Uh, uh, I don't know. I wanted to uh, learn everything I could while still in secondary school.
And that means more of the science stuff, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Um, But it does mean that your school thinks you can do this, lah. I mean, not every person can take A math and double science, right? For for reasons which are obvious when you're in, lah. It is a lot of work, lah. It is a lot of work. So tell me, what do you think? Is this a bad choice or is it a good choice still?
Mm, I don't know. As of right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm, I'm not doing too well, especially with physics.
Mm.
So I don't know. Uh, I don't know. I think I need to study more. Yeah, I thought it would be slightly. I thought it would be like uh like Sec 2, like just easy, but
Mm.
it's a bit
Mm.
different.
Mm. 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 I agree on that regarding physics lah. Mm. But if I may ask, why don't you choose bio and chem?
Um, by in my school, uh, they offer they offer triple science,
Yeah.
then they offer like triple pure science,
Mm.
and then double pure science,
Mm.
and then single pure science.
Oh, there's a single pure science. Well, how does that work? Wow, okay. I've never
Uh,
heard of that before. Right, okay. Wow.
Single pure, yeah, it's just pure bio, and then nothing like the science, pure bio, and then combined science. Yeah,
So you still take combined science? No, that one I understand. No, that one I understand. That one I understand. Wait, no, sorry. The single pure science plus combined or just single bio?
single single okay, pure bio plus pure science, or double pure or triple pure.
Right. Single pure. How interesting. All right.
Yeah.
So why did you choose physics and chem then? I mean, other than because you thought it's easy. Or sorry, why don't you choose bio? I thought bio is also easy, that kind of thing.
But for like additional bio or like the single bio.
Um, I was assuming that the double science combo can be, for example, biochem lah, for example.
Oh, yeah, they only give us uh pure physics chem or physics chem bio or just
Oh,
bio. Yeah, so
you cannot.
yeah,
You
we
can.
can't.
I'm sorry. Okay. I get it. Okay. Yeah. Would you have preferred bio?
Uh, Not really. So
Ah,
I yeah.
okay. All right. Okay. So can I assume that you are more into not, I'm saying, how do I say this? If people don't like physics, they like chemistry and bio more because you can memorize more. Physics, if you try to memorize, it usually doesn't end very well. That doesn't end well. Doesn't end well.
I
If Yep, go
for
ahead.
yeah, for physics, I think like the only thing you can memorize are the formulas, then the rest are implication, right?
Applications, understanding, they have 10,000 ways to twist the question. You just
Yeah,
can't memorize the steps. And yet you look at the answer key, it's so short. What is this, man? Something like that, right?
yeah. And then in chemistry is uh yeah, more of memorizing, but enjoying, yeah. But
Hmm.
I must have not memorized enough
Yeah.
for the.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you have. I think the better mindset for physics, like you cannot memorize, like it or not, you have to understand it enough, like it or not. Is that the problem? Is the problem less practice? We will find out soon enough. So, can I can I assume that we want to talk about physics more today? Maybe to have a feel. All right. Okay. So this is what you do. I'm sorry. I'm going to now stop my video. Our video is not very important here. Our voices, right? So, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you Jamboard. You will have your own Jamboard, right? Okay. So this is my Jamboard. A lot of Jamboard. You don't have to worry about that. I'm going to start a new Jamboard. Sorry, just a minute. Okay. Right. Okay. And then I have to share with you. All right. Please tell me your email so I can share with you, then we can use this together.
Okay. EBEN
EBEN. There you go.
Underscore.
Yeah, ignore that guy. There's another Eben last time. Okay.
Okay. Uh, Haezer.
HAZE.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh, R.
Sorry, is there?
Yeah. Between the A and the Z, there's one more E.
I see what you mean. Right. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Then underscore again.
Okay,
Uh,
score. Just a minute. Okay, right. That's right.
Sahat. SAHAT.
SHASA.
SAHAT.
Okay. Sahat. Okay.
Yeah. Then underscore, yeah. Underscore.
Underscore and then M.
MARISI.
Mhm. SI. Marisi.
Yeah, Marisi. And then then at student.edu.sg.
Students or student? I keep forgetting. Student. Is it? Student. Okay.
Plural students.
Plural. Okay. Students.edu.sg. All right. Did I get it right? Something.
Yes.
I got it. Okay, I got it. Okay, that one. Okay. Okay, this one. Okay, it'll be an editor. Then I send. Okay. Now, this Jamboard is yours. What does that mean? Okay. Even though I made it and I share it, but it's yours, meaning you don't need my permission to change it. Okay. I'm going to write things here. You're going to write things here, but this is officially yours. If you want to delete something, you want to erase something, you want to do something, it's yours. I'm just here to help you understand by writing stuff. That makes some sense. Okay. Okay. Now, you should have this Jamboard shared with you. Sorry, I'm going to title it first. Trial Eben, right? Okay. Now, you should find this Jamboard in your iPad, in your Jamboard in your iPad. Gonna stop sharing, and then please tell me whether you can find it or not.
Yeah, I already found it.
Okay, so let's say I write something, you should be able to see it very quickly, lah. Right? Okay, where is it? Just a minute. Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm gonna write something and then you're just gonna reply if you see it. Reply anything you want using your finger. Can you write or reply something? Okay, now I can see you. Okay, now I can see you.
Oh, okay. I can.
And you write something in reply because we're going to work together here.
Oh, okay.
All
Okay.
right. Okay, got it. And then, okay, I can see it almost immediately, so things are working fine. Could you please clear frame? In the eraser function, there is an option to clear everything. So don't just erase, but just whoop everything gone. Can you try that? Okay, there you go. So now you know that. There's also the laser pointer, helpful if you want to point something. Usually I use this more, but so that you can try your own laser pointer.
Laser pointer.
Maybe the last one or something, the last and the tools like that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. There you go. Okay. So we can do that if you want to. And then sometimes you want to type, it works. Okay. You use the for iPad, I think you only have the sticky note. So maybe sometimes you need that. Give it a try.
Okay. No. This one.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, something like that. Okay, again, it is yours. You can erase whatever you want, right? Usually, how do we use this Jamboard? It's very simple. We discuss your question. Okay, student initiative does really mean that we discuss mostly your questions. I will, however, ask you to ask the more difficult one, the more challenging one. It's just more fruitful intuition that way, lah. So I'll give you an example of my question, but my question is not the ideal thing. So Just give you an example. I have a lot of questions, blah, 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 and then I just choose one, right? Okay, just a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna do a screenshot. And then I'm going to put it in the Jamboard, and then you tell me whether something appear or not.
Yeah, something appear.
All right, and you can, I believe, read it quite clearly, lah, right? So this is mine. And let's pretend to, let's just use this to discuss, for the first one. And then I think if you have questions, especially holiday homework, I think we'll move on to that. All right. So let's just start with this question first. Go ahead, Eben. You read this. This is a physics MCQ. And when you're done, you tell me.
Hmm. Oh, what does second to -1? What
Okay.
does that?
I understand what you're asking, but just to make it clear, sometimes you just want to use your pen to indicate. Like maybe you circle your question. What is this? That's just much easier.
Okay.
Okay. You got to use your finger first, lah, for now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Oh no, that's not the okay, okay, okay. So what happened? Okay, iPad is a bit weird, yeah. Ben, I'll just explain to you a bit. What you did is that you enlarged the picture
Oh yeah.
way more than the Jamboard. Of course, that can happen. So it's very weird. If you do it on the picture does that. You have to do it outside the picture. Something like that, something like that. So I will have to ask you to undo first because then we cannot read the question anymore. This one's very difficult. So you can kind of undo first. There is an undo menu, I think, on top of the iPad, something like that. Mm.
I didn't know if I zoomed in, you also get zoomed in.
No, I can. Right now the picture is just okay. I'm gonna make it smaller. Okay, I'm gonna make it because right now the picture is no longer readable, so to speak. As in, it's too big already. I'm gonna have to make it smaller. So this happens in iPad lah. Sometimes it's just difficult to control. I'll tell you what's the ideal setup. Your setup right now is not ideal, but it's for trial, right? So now I'll circle for you first. You're circling this thing, right, as a question mark. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
Eben, I like what you're doing. You're simply clarifying when you're reading. You don't wait, and that's very important. Okay. You take initiative in asking. That sounds like a very normal thing, but that is very important in this situation. Okay. Because sometimes I can read your mind, but I will stay quiet to see whether you will ask or not. And you did. I'm very happy. I'll answer immediately. This is very simple. This is, wait, what? Have you learned your indices from EMath and AMath?
Yeah. So
Right.
this
So R minus 1 means over S, which means MS minus 1 equals to M over S, which is, strangely speaking, this is something that they like to do. I don't know. They do like to do that in physics. We are just more used to meter over second, but they like to do this. Okay?
okay.
Right? So more questions before we start, please, if you have.
Yeah, I already finished reading the question.
Okay. Also in this situation, you don't wait for me. I'm very aware what's going on. I'm actually following you. That's just a better way. If you can, that means you have more self-control and self-direction. So you say, okay, I'm ready, but you don't have to wait for me to do. Okay. The only reason why you may want to wait is because you need to ask something, or I have no idea what to do as a start. If that's the case, you don't wait for me. You immediately say, hey, but I don't know how to start. Something like that. Now, do you know how to start?
Mm, Find their distance.
Find the distance, and yes, I agree with you. Position requires distance. I like it a lot. Nice concept. So, what do you do?
To speed times time.
That's not wrong. In primary school, of course, distance is speed times time. However, in physics and EMath, and later on AMath, this is a topic which is EMath, AMath, and physics, right? Benefits three things. You cannot just do that. The more accurate way is area under the graph. I am not explaining yet why, but the area under the graph is what you're aiming for. Am I making any sense?
Oh, okay. So it's still, yeah, like finding multiplication.
It will use multiplication, but you have to be mindful of the shape of the graph, so to speak. Okay. Which
Okay.
usually requires your EMath law. Yeah. Oh, what shape is this, man? Simple stuff. Now, write your working using finger. I don't care whether it's very big, but do that in this Jamboard so I can follow you. It's very important for me to be able to follow you.
Okay.
Believe it or not, it's not you follow me, it's I follow you.
Do I? Okay.
Are you stuck, Eben? Because I'm not saying anything. Are you stuck?
Uh, do I just find the area for every single one? Then compare.
Um, you have the right idea. You have. You have the right idea. What will you do?
Uh, Find the triangle, then the square.
Go ahead. Go ahead. At this point, I'm very certain that you can do it. It's just a matter of just simply doing it. Now, what will you do? What will you do? Show me what you got.
70, is it 75? Some 75 meter.
Hmm.
Half time.
I'm gonna stop you there for a while. Yeah, gonna stop you there. So 6, 6, right? 6, and this is 5, right? Correct. So this one is 30 lah. Make sense? This part,
Oh yeah. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
Okay. Yeah. Try again.
Okay. So 45. This is 40.
Okay. Okay. I can follow you. Now, did you, was it actually a good idea? I keep saying it's a good idea. It's a good idea. So is it?
Uh, I I think so.
All
Then
right. Your answer?
8.
Yeah. So it's obvious after you do that. Oh, therefore it's a very useful thing, right? Now, tell me a bit, Eben. Is the technique new? Just checking for you.
No.
All
Yeah.
right.
Before.
My impression is that I don't have to teach you much. In this case, you already know what to do, right? You tell me, why do you hesitate? That's what it feels from this side. Lah. You seem to be hesitating, so to speak.
Uh, yeah, because I got the
Just ignore the screen sharing. Sorry, just ignore the screen sharing. Focus on your Jamboard. So you're saying?
got the first calculation wrong because I I thought it was, yeah, I took 5. Uh, yeah, I took 10 times 6, then that's where I got it wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The shape matters, lah. Can I say that? The shape does matter, right? Now do a bit of explanation. When you say 6 times 10, you're referring to a very different shape. So what is 6 times 10, which is 60? You're referring to,
A
I'm gonna use
rectangle.
the rectangle, which I will erase this. I just pretend to erase that, right? Then the rectangle, which you can imagine very well, therefore 60 is obviously bigger than 45. Why? It makes a lot of sense. In the first 5 seconds, if your speed is still not 5 meters per second, obviously your distance will be less lah, right? If it's a rectangle, your speed is already, sorry, 6. Your speed is already 6 meters per second from the start. Obviously, you'll be traveling more, right? That is why the shape matters, if that makes some sense, right? Okay, but I believe I'm explaining what you already know lah now, okay? Already. Now, Eben, in this tuition, we are not interested in doing what you already know. There are exceptions if you feel that you cannot study by yourself. As in, there are some students of mine who simply admits that they won't do any work outside tuition. They will do work inside tuition. They're very happy to do that. Outside tuition, never mind, no need one. Okay, I guess some people do that. Evan, if you're like that, you tell me. I guess I have to adjust to you. If you are not like that, then it is very advantageous for you to focus on what you cannot do in tuition, right? If that makes sense. There is no standard worksheet lah, if that is what you're expecting. No, I expect every time we do something that you cannot, therefore you feel the benefit when we explain. Okay, something like that. Okay, now this question is from me lah, right? It's from me. So now, do you have a question we can discuss from your holiday homework, for example? Is there no holiday homework from school? That would be nice, but is there?
Um, there.
As in, do you have it? Do you want to talk about it? We can talk about something else. No problem. Do you want to?
I think he hasn't given. Yeah, he hasn't.
Which is very surprising. I thought tomorrow there is no school. That's very weird. Wait, what's going on? Right. Tomorrow
Yeah.
there is no school, right?
Yeah, no school. I think he'll text. He usually texts the class group chat to do our 10-year series.
Oh. Okay. And then tell me, which school are you in?
Hillgrove.
Hillgrove Secondary. Good. Okay. I myself live at Hillview, so I think we're quite close. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So Eben, maybe you tell me something else. Tell me, as your teacher, what is your teacher talking about in class? Maybe heat or something like that. What's the topic?
Uh, he hasn't. This last week, I think he hasn't taught much because we had Vesak Day holiday, and then uh, Tuesday was more of a learning journey, and then Monday was there was no physics on Monday, so we didn't. I didn't see him.
Okay. So, has your teacher talked about the topic a moment?
Moment, yeah.
Okay, it was in the exam lah, maybe, yeah, moment. The next topic might be pressure, depending. Has your teacher talked about pressure?
Yeah. I
All
think
right.
I remember something related to chemistry already.
Hmm.
Uh,
The
we were
kinetic particle theory?
uh,
No.
part.
Hmm.
Uh,
Or heat,
no.
heat,
Then
heat, heat transfer, or
I, I I heard Brownian motion or something.
Brownian motion. Yes, Brownian motion means the kinetic particle theory lah. That was the last thing he talked about, is what you're saying.
Uh,
Something like that.
yeah, it's the physical properties of uh,
Solid, liquid, and
liquid.
gas.
Yeah.
Solid, liquid, and gas. Okay. Understand. Hmm.
Yeah. Then he gave us notes for the holiday. I think.
For you to read, you mean?
Yeah, for us to read in advance. Yeah, it's about thermal processes, or is it thermal equilibrium? I forgot. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right. In this tuition, student initiative, right? You say you're gonna choose what you do, right? But when you are not certain what to do, I have a lot of options, right? I have a lot of options. I'll give you three options. Maybe you can choose, right? First option, we're going to look at a question of the thermal equilibrium thingy and use that to understand. Now, what does that mean? That means we're studying something before the class, which is something very nice after a while. If you realize how nice it is, you will want to do it next time, but you don't have to trust me right now. So anyway, that's the first option. We just go ahead and discuss something before the class. Okay, that's the first option. Second option is we discuss your exam. I'm guessing that you're not very satisfied with your, your last exam. We can discuss that. Okay, we can discuss so that you feel that, hey, maybe I can understand the topic of the exam better next time, something like that. That's the second option. Okay, the third option is I'm gonna show you end of year. Okay, what is in end of year? Then you have a very good idea what you're working towards. Some people like that a lot. Some people think that's too much. Okay, you, Eben, do you have a choice or you want another different choice? That's up to you.
I think I want to see the EOI question.
All right. All right. And I'll see. In this case, it will be from me. Let me open one first and I'll share it. Okay. Just a minute. It's not here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to the Google Drive. Okay, right. I'm going to share my screen. If you continue, I'll just share this Google Drive with you. I have like so many questions. You won't run out on. Just trust you, just me. You won't run out on physics, chem, whatever. So you will see a Sec 3 2016. The year also doesn't matter. Physics is physics, right? Okay, so I'm going to go to 2016. There you go. And then you get to choose a random school. End of year Sec 3 means SA2, right? Everything here is end of year Sec 3. Choose one.
Mm, St. Patrick's School.
St. Patrick. Okay, I'm going to go there. Just a minute. Uh-oh. Oh, there you go. All right, okay, there you go. So St. Patrick, right? So the purpose of looking at end of year is to get a survey. Okay. Let's see whether that benefits you or not. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, we don't have around 20 minutes left, so we gotta do this, right? How do I? Okay, look. First thing first, yeah. For MCQ, you know there's an MCQ, right? Okay. For MCQ, the topic is always almost in order one. The first topic in the first question in MCQ is almost always the first thing you learn. They call this measurement or something. Okay. If this one feels unfamiliar, it is because the question is unfamiliar, but the topic is clearly measurement. Okay, something like that. That's question number one. We're not going to do that because we're doing a survey. Question number two, look at that. Velocity, acceleration, deceleration, that kind of thing. This is something that you learn quite early, and therefore it is question number two. Make some sense?
Yeah.
Okay, show you a bit more. Question number three, question number four, suddenly you have, this kind of Newton and forces and that kind of thing. Certainly, question 5 and 6, you saw it in your exam that just happened. Am I correct?
Oh, fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though you're doing a survey, if you feel that, hey, maybe let's discuss this question. Remember, it's trial, you want to experience the style. You tell me like, hey, why don't we talk about question 5 and question 6? Okay. Right now, I'm not interested in it, but if you're interested, you should say. Okay. Shall we move on or shall we stay here?
Mm, I think I want to question 6. Yeah.
Yep, question 6, as expected. My other student just asked this question, right? It
Yeah.
requires some explanation, and therefore, I think it's very good for trial because, style, huh? Oh, just focus on your Jamboard. The screen sharing is no longer important, yeah, because you got it right. Okay, so I'm putting it there. Now, do you have the picture in your Jamboard?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I believe it's a page 2, I believe, yeah? Now, question page 2. Okay, there you go. Okay. Now, we call this question connected mass question because, well, obviously there are more than one mass, and the mass is somehow connected. Okay. A connected mass has a very special, a few special things that only happens when it is connected mass. So it's almost like its own question. Okay, it will always happen. So it's good to learn it. It will, however, be asked in at most 2 questions, usually only 1. After you learn, you can decide whether it's worth your time or not. However, a connected method question will make your forces topic be very good. It's one of the harder questions in the forces. So it's a good practice for the whole topic. Okay, right? So that's the introduction. Before I continue, has your teacher used the word connected mass?
No, not yet. Not
Okay.
yeah.
I don't like to use big words, so when I use connected mass, I feel that it's because it makes a lot of sense. Look at this 2 mass connected lah. That's it. Can you accept that?
Yeah.
There will be other variations like this. This is also connected mass. One is going down, pulling the other one, but still connected one. Very easy to see. Sometimes there will be 3. Sometimes there will be 3. Something like that. All this scenario follows the same logic one. That is the logic I want to show you. I'll give you 2 logics. 2 logics. We have to discuss whether that makes sense or not. First logic. The acceleration of this guy, the first mass, acceleration of mass B, I'll call it, will always be the same as the acceleration of mass A. Whether this makes sense or not, they assume you know this. They don't tell you. Nothing will be hinted on this. You have to know this and use this immediately. Questions, please?
Okay.
Okay. If that's okay, immediately we require a second logic. Immediately. You don't wait one. The second logic is on the connection itself, right? So the connection is illustrated by both acceleration the same, not both speed, yeah? Not both speed, no what, just focus on acceleration. Secondly, the tension here, there you go. Tension pulling the B to the left is obviously going to be equal to the tension pulling the A backward. Obviously, they will be the same. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So only these 2 logic, and therefore, I have to talk about math a little bit. I don't know the acceleration. Unfortunately, they will never tell you. I guarantee you one thing, they will never tell you the acceleration. Second thing I guarantee, they will also never tell you the tension. Look, see, that's what they ask. Okay, there is a reason for they never tell you. I've never seen a question where they tell you this thing because these 2 things are what makes the question difficult. Once they tell you one, it actually becomes very easy. And that's not what they want. Let's just put it that way. Can you accept that?
Yeah.
Now, we therefore have 2 unknowns, 2 very important unknowns that they will not tell you, the A and the T. I recall your math a little bit. If in mathematics, e-math, you have 2 unknowns, you also must have 2 equations. Now, am I making any sense right now? I'm talking about math here. The math is slightly more challenging here. If I don't make sense, you're going to tell me immediately.
Yeah. I think it's still fine. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 unknowns, and therefore I need 2 equations. Guess what? they also won't tell you the two equations. They
Yeah.
also won't tell you. So you need to find the two equations and then somehow solve them using math. That's always the thing to do in a connected math. You can trust me on that one. Okay, yeah? Now I'm going to go through that process with you. It is a little bit long. Now, A, I don't know. T, I don't know. I'll focus on mass A or mass B first, your choice.
Mass A first.
Mass A, a good choice because that's the most complicated one. We settle it, it becomes easier. Why more complicated? Well, actually, I mean, not that much lah. Mass A experience how many forces? You check it out.
The
How many forces does A experience? You look at it, eh? You have to feel it yourself. It, of course, experienced the 12 Newton, of course,
okay.
right? It also experienced the tension pulling him backward, not forward, backward. That makes sense or not?
Yeah.
And then that's it, look. 12 Newton minus T. Why minus?
So, T. I don't know.
Okay, sometimes your mic, I cannot hear. Yeah, did you say anything?
I'd say I don't know. So I don't know.
All right. You do not know why it is 12 minus T. Am I correct? Just checking. You do
Yeah.
not know why 12. Okay, very important. This one cannot miss. Okay, now I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way. The mass is 2 kilogram. That's the easy part. Okay, mass A is 2 kilogram, huh? Right? The acceleration of A, I don't know, so I just leave it like that. Okay, now instead of writing minus T, I just write 12. 12 equals to 2A. Will you say that this is correct? If you have no idea, you tell me also. But if you feel that this is correct, you also tell me.
Uh, I, why two? Uh, why 2A? Why A?
All right, all right. Okay. I use a very important formula. I was assuming that you are comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable, you must tell me lah. Now, the formula is simple. They write it as F equals to MA. However, it's more like it's a sigma F equals or resultant F equals to MA. So I was just using that formula. And the mass of the A is, and mass of the block A is definitely 2, ma. This is mass A, ma. Correct or not?
Okay.
There you go. Correct? It is given here.
Yeah.
All right. So I have 2 here. I do not have the acceleration, and I'm not surprised because I already expect that to not be known in a connected mass question. I already expect it. Okay. So I'm comfortable with writing the A. The 2A, is it okay with you or not?
No.
Then tell me why it is not okay. Now you gotta explain to me why. What is your confusion here? I really need to know.
Oh, A meaning acceleration. Yeah.
Yeah, F equals to
Oh,
ma.
oh. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I thought it meant the block A. Oh my.
No. Which is
Yeah.
very confusing of the question, I must admit. It is very confusing because the question name it A also. The question
Okay.
is not very nice that way lah. I must admit the question is not very nice. Okay. Okay, good. So 12A. Sorry, 2A, which is on the right-hand side. Now, on the left-hand side, I write 12 right now. Would you agree with that or not? Does that make any sense even?
Mm, maybe it makes sense without if like there's no block B.
I agree with you. So therefore, this does not make sense. If you revert your logic, you say, wait, this cannot be. The 12N is not just pulling the 2 kg, man. The 12N is pulling the 4 kg, or the 2 and the 4 kg. Okay, so you already have that logic. I'm going to immediately do something for you. I'm going to immediately do something for you. Okay, I'm going to say, take them as a whole. As a whole. 12N is pulling 4 plus 2, and then acceleration. This is your sigma F equals to m. Take them as a whole, not separately.
Okay.
Would that make some sense?
Okay.
As a result, you don't bother about this tension. When you take them as the whole, you don't have to. That's the nice thing. It's very nice. 12 Newton, 4 plus 2A. Again, let me confirm this now makes some sense to you.
Yeah.
Acceleration is equal to 2. Tell me the unit.
Meter per second. Okay.
Meter per second squared. All right. Or in physics, they write it down as ms minus 2. Would that be okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, this is a big deal. Eben, you believe me, yeah? This is a super big deal when you found an A or a T in a connected mass. I have to tell you this because the question never asks you about A, which kind of throws people off. People want to find the tension immediately at one go. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Finding A, this simple, is a super big deal, and I want to show you why. This is now 2 meters per second squared. Remember, the question does not hint you in any way. Hey, bro, please find A. The question never says. Okay, now, why is this a big deal? I'm going to show you. Can we agree on one thing? The mass A separately is slightly more complicated than the mass B separately. The mass B is simpler, only one tension. Make sense or not?
Yeah. Okay.
So I choose that. I choose mass B. In physics, you are actually asked or you're encouraged to do the easier things to get. They will never tell you which one's easier though. For example, they will never tell you in this question, getting the A is easy, plus it is useful. They leave it to you. They will also never tell you, hey, mass B is the easier guy to do than the mass A. Do B lah, don't do A. They never tell you. You gotta think. That's the understanding. Now, about mass B. Tension equals to 4 times the acceleration, which is 2. Still, sigma F equals to ma. Making sense?
Yeah.
And then suddenly you have the tension of 8 Newton, and then you're done.
Okay.
Looks easy just because we take the easy step. Just because we finding A is easy, we take that first. Using mass B is easy, we do that first. Now, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to ask you to do the mass A instead as a comparison. Would you please do mass A? Sigma F equals to MA.
Mm,
Pretend that we don't have mass B, okay? We haven't done mass B. So in whatever reason, you choose mass A as a way to find tension, then please do so.
Okay. So 2 times 2.
What do you mean by 2 times 2? Oh, you're right. The MA is 2 times 2. You're correct. But there is the left-hand side, the resultant F. I'm going to continue for you, yeah? 2 times 2 is 4. 4 Newton is the resultant F. Make sense?
Mhm.
The problem is, what does that mean exactly? I have a feeling that you're not very comfortable with resultant F. That's my feeling right now. Okay, what is resultant have? Do you know or not? This always happens, you see.
The 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 force acting on the block right now.
The forces acting on the block. You're correct. The forces, there may be one, there may be zero, there might be more than one. Now, in this case, how many forces are acting on the block A?
Block
How many? One, two, three, zero.
um, block. I think 3 or 4. Is it?
Forces? Three or four forces? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's identify them. Now, the first force is 12 Newton. Can we say that? Oh, that must be right? There's a 12 Newton here. Okay. So mass A is affected by 12 Newton. Now, you say that there are more than just one force. So which other forces are affecting mass A?
Is, does the tension from the back count? Is that?
All right. Now, I'm going to have to ask you to take the perspective of mass A. Okay. If you are mass A and there is a mass B behind you connected to a rope, okay, nothing happens when you're not moving. You won't feel it one. Okay. Something like you're holding hands with your sister. Okay. But your dad, which is holding your other hand, is not moving. You don't feel much. Now, what happens when your dad starts moving and dragging you with him, but you're still holding your sister? What will happen?
I will pull my sister as well.
Correct. The question is, will you, mass A, feel the tension from your sister if you're holding him, if you're holding her?
Will oh,
Will you feel the tension in your hand holding your sister?
uh, if
You're not sure.
if my dad pull me, then there will be like a sudden movement, right? And I think she'll feel.
Okay, right. Okay, I'm starting my video. Okay, I'm starting my video. Right. If we can still use experience, we should, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So your dad is holding you on the left-hand side. Is this my left hand? Just checking.
Your oh, that's your right hand.
Okay, that's my right hand. Okay, because the video sometimes the Zoom sometimes makes it up. Okay, that's my right hand. Okay. So your dad, I'm you, Eben. Your dad holds you on your right hand. Your left hand holds your sister. And then your hand is pulled by your dad. Just to be clear, your right hand feels the pull, correct?
Yeah.
Must be lah. Okay, that's 12 Newton, no? That's your 12 Newton, right? Now, your left hand, I'm moving, man. Your left hand is holding to your sister. Will you feel any pull?
Yeah.
Because you're holding your sister. Okay, great. Okay, and that is correct. I also feel like that, experience. Now, your dad pulling you to the right, your sister, is it pulling you to the left or pushing you to the right also? What's the feeling here?
Uh, pulling,
Pulling
pull,
you to the where? To the where?
pulling me to her side as well.
Yeah. So if your dad is moving to the right, she will pull you to the left. Can we say that? You will feel it that way. Make sense or not? It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense, tell me. I'm trying to use the experience here. If the experience doesn't work, you got to tell me. Does it make sense? Your dad pulls you, you feel the pull to the right. You grab your sister feels like she's pulling you to the left.
Yeah.
Even though your sister is moving with you. That's the thing. Your sister is moving with you to the right, but she feels like she's pulling you to the left. Again, if you don't understand this experience, I will ask you to do something. If not, the whole explanation doesn't make sense. I don't want you to memorize this. Yes or no? Your sister is moving with you, and yet your sister feels like pulling you to the left, even though you're moving. Yes or no?
Mm, cool. Yeah.
Okay. Then let me establish this. Both masses move to the right, but the mass on the behind feels like she's pulling the first mass to the left. That's the feeling. The only reason why we are still moving to the right is because the left pull is smaller than the right pull. That's the only reason. Your dad is pulling you stronger than your sister is pulling you. So everybody still moves to the right lah, in the end.
Yeah.
However, your sister has managed to reduce the effect of your dad's pull. By right lah, that makes sense. How your dad is pulling only you. Of course, that will be faster than your dad pulling you and your sister. That just makes sense. Okay. Now, let me ask you something. This 4 Newton, then who is this? Is this 4 Newton the 12 Newton? I mean, of course not, right? Okay. Is this 4 Newton the tension? Is it?
Mm, no.
You are right. So who is 4 Newton? You're absolutely right.
Uh, for Newton is uh, me going, me getting pulled, A getting pulled.
The net force, we'll just say that, you know, the resultant force, the total force. Your dad is pulling you 12 Newton. You only get 4 Newton of pull because of your sister tagging behind. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the question is, what is the tension from your system? It's not 4, I agree. So what is it?
The 8.
Yes. 12 minus T is usually what they say. 12 minus T equals to MA. Why 12 minus T? Because 12 and T are going opposite, one right, one left. Oh, really? Yeah, equals to 2 times 2 equals to 4. Oh, T must be 8 lah. You're right. You're right. And by the way, we found the T, look, by the way.
Yeah.
Using mass A is more complicated than using mass B. Mass B is simpler. Look at that. Mass B is simply tension equals to MA, which is 4 times 2, which is 8. Hey, the result of using mass A and mass B is the same. That simply makes sense. It cannot be different one. If your sister is pulling you 8 Newton, you are also pulling your sister 8 Newton. I hope that makes some sense.
Okay.
But if you use mass A, you learn more, which is why I asked you to do that. Using mass B is a simpler method, but currently we are learning. You don't learn much. Using mass A is more revealing. That's why I like it for now lah.
Okay.
Any other question for this one? This one is one of the hardest questions. I'm glad that you choose it.
Yeah, I'm glad I could clear up. Yeah, because uh, I will I will think that it's just 12, then pulling 12 again, like Newton.
I guess connected mass is more complicated than that, but I always hope it makes sense, right? Maybe if you want to continue next time, I'll give you 2 questions of this. I can say if you're comfortable with this question, other questions will seem slightly easier. That's why it's good. Okay? Okay. Hopefully you'll achieve that quite quick. Now, Evan, I do have a class on 6, lah, right? We are not at 6 p.m. yet, so that's okay. From my side, I already roughly know where you are in physics, such that if we are to continue intuition, I already roughly know what we should do. Okay, so that's the purpose of trial for me. Is the purpose of the trial already achieved for you? Are you happy with the trial? Do you feel like you understand the style or whatever this is?
Yeah.
Okay. What other questions you want to clarify first? regarding this tuition and whatever?
Oh, mm, is it always just 1 hour?
Okay. Oh, let me ask you. Now I'll just on my video. If you want to, feel free. Okay. So, this tuition is different in a few ways. This tuition, first of all, feels more like a one-to-one, which is what we experienced just now, right? In fact, I will be sending you a phone holder. Why? Because then you can use your phone, zoom down. I can see what you're writing on paper. I think writing on paper is just more natural for most people. It does feel like one-to-one. That is what you experienced today. Now, is it 1 hour or not? No. 1.5 hour is the usual slot. I find that most people can concentrate. Beyond that is a bit difficult. Okay, our trial is 1 hour lah. Our real work should be 1.5 hour. Okay, other questions first.
Not really, no other.
Then I'll tell you a bit more. Okay, in this trial, it is obvious that it is you and me. It is really only one-to-one. There is something I cannot simulate in trial, which is to say, in most time slots, you will find another person. So let's say there's you and another guy. Okay, now let me explain what's going on here. I'll explain to that guy or that girl, his or her subject, explain what she's asking, and then I'll go back to you, taking turns, something like that. What it actually feels to you is that the other person doesn't seem to be there. What do I mean? It's because I explained to her, she does her question. In the meantime, I explain to you your question, and then you do your own question. Make sense so far? It seems like you're taking turn, correct?
Yeah, okay.
But she hasn't finished. When I finished explaining to you, most of the time, she hasn't even finished her question. Because after explaining, she will be doing something, man. Same thing with you. Same with you. I explained to you already your question. You'll be doing it. And then in the meantime, you're doing it. I'm not doing nothing. I'll be explaining her new question. And then after that is finished, you are usually not finished with your own question. It doesn't even feel that you're waiting. It just feels that I explain to you, you do your question, and then after the next question, I'll just explain to you again. Something like that. If that makes sense, Eben? Yeah, there's two-person, but it feels like one-to-one. I cannot simulate that in trial right now. You just have to kind of, maybe you experience this once lah in the real tuition, and you will see whether I'm talking about the right thing. So far, so good?
Okay, so I can like learn as well, or are they like different subjects?
Okay, now again, let me explain that to you. In general, you guys don't interact at all. It's not because we are unfriendly people. That's not why, lah. But it's because, imagine this, Eben. Let's say my other student is in the same school, Hillgrove, but different class. Okay, different class.
Yeah.
Even though theoretically, we are studying the same topic, but your problem is different from his problem.
Okay.
So by right, theoretically, it feels like, okay, if I'm discussing a problem with him, maybe you can learn. But in theory, no. Your problem is different from his problem. Maybe 20% of the time is the same. Of course, you can listen to it, but usually that's not what happens. Usually, I treat Eben as Eben, and I treat your friend as your friend with different sets of problems and different sets of needs, and sometimes totally different subjects. Maybe he will be learning A math and you will be learning physics. Maybe next week, he will be learning physics, but you are chasing after chemistry for whatever reason, and that's totally fine. There is no interaction just because we don't try to sync with each other. We don't try that at all. Maybe in holiday we try, but most of the time we don't need to at all. If that makes some sense. So in this tuition, your problem is your problem. You don't have to worry about other people's problem, even though you can if you want to. Okay? Just imagine a friend from the same class. Can you imagine that you exactly have the same problem as him? No one. He will be having a slightly different tempo than you, a slightly different speed, a slightly different thing to us, even though you are in the same class. I hope that makes some sense. Okay. Whether that is true or not, you will see when the tuition starts, whether I'm just talking nonsense or is it really true that is what you experience. It's just that unfortunately, we cannot experience that in trial, Trial is only you. Okay. So that's another thing. Anything else you want to ask?
Uh, do you like do you squeeze in two subjects or 1 week one subject?
Okay. So formally, you can ask any subject of this. There's five: A math, E math, physics, chem, POA. I don't think you take POA, so it doesn't matter, right? Bio also can. I guess that's six. Obviously, we cannot learn six subjects in 1.5 hours per week. We can even hardly learn two subjects in 1.5 hours per week. What happens? What happens is most of the time you must prioritize one subject first. For example, you say, you know what? I think we should prioritize physics. So we discuss physics. The way we discuss is almost always ahead of class. There's a very important reason is because that's what good students do. So I'm trying to make you a good student, by discussing the thermal equilibrium thing before your class starts. That has a few advantages. The number one advantage is that you go to class, you immediately understand your class more because we talk about it roughly already. We already discussed maybe 2 questions about it. I'll tell you the most important stuff. Then your teacher say the same thing. Good for you. Immediately, you can do the homework better. Immediately, you can practice the harder questions better. That will certainly have a good effect on your exam. That's how a good student study, by the way, not before exam, no, but before class, in that sense. Okay, so far so good? So far so good?
Yeah, good.
So that is not what we did today. What we did today is we discussed the past. The past is important. It's just that I will tell you a very practical thing. The connected mass will not appear again until end of year. Your problem right now is not connected mass. It feels good to know, but it feels better if you can do thermal, which is your next topic. I can guarantee you that it feels better. Okay? So connected mass is practically speaking not your problem right now. We should talk about it before end of year. We will have time because after 2 or 3 months, 2 months, you will feel that your physics is under control. If this is really what you want, your physics is under control, and then suddenly you can spend time on two things. First is chemistry. Second is your past physics. You keep doing that, and then suddenly the 1.5 hour, you find that it is enough to help most of your physics and some of your chemistry. Some. That will be your end, that will be your year 3 because we only have 4 months before year 3 ends. That is generally what you should expect to happen. Physics improve, chemistry okay. Then suddenly in holiday, we have more time. We'll be doing more for chemistry while maintaining physics. And when we enter next year, then your physics and chemistry are stable. So that is after around 4 to 5 months of tuition. That is what most of my students experience. They find that after a while, 1.5 hour is enough for two subjects. If they are serious in the subject, if they do their own homework, yada, yada. Something like that.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So I try not to demand a lot of tuition time, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think that's the most effective way of studying anyway, especially if you ask for tuition just because exam is coming. It really doesn't work much. Now, Eben, are you that type, Eben? Let's be honest. Are you the type who study before exam one? I mean, sorry, everybody study before exam. I mean, are you the type who study only before exam? What do you want?
Yeah.
Now, if you're that type, I already tell you that this tuition does not is not that high because the tuition time is a bit short. What we do is we study before class starts. Do you think you can try that style? Experience the benefit that I promised lah.
Study. Okay. Before, so I go over. Uh, I, I I go over what I want to learn, or what? What do you mean?
Oh, you mean when the class start? Okay. Okay, let me tell you something. This is special time because this is holiday is coming, right? Next week's holiday. Okay. Usually my student don't start on the holiday time one. Holiday time is special and very useful lah. In holiday, I will dictate the topic a little bit. Most of the time, the topic will be what's happening next term. Okay, let's discuss this thing because it's going to happen next term. Let's discuss this thing because it's going to happen next term. Let's discuss this thing because I know your chemistry is in a very critical juncture. If you don't understand more, your chemistry is probably discussing more right now. Am I correct?
Discussing what?
More. No, your chemistry is not discussing more right now.
Oh,
Acid and base? Acid and base, maybe?
acid.
So no more, but acid and base. Or you're that kind of style school one. Okay. I can tell you, starting acid and base, later on more. So after acid and base, it will be more. Those two topics, if you don't understand, the impact is longer. It's very critical. They are not necessarily difficult. It's just that if you don't understand both, everything else behind that becomes very difficult unnecessarily. It's critical that way, loh. Chemistry is very different from physics. Physics topic like this one, I don't understand this previous topic. It doesn't really matter because the next topic is not very connected one. Correct or not?
Yeah.
After thermal, thermal you don't understand. After thermal is wave. It doesn't matter very much. Okay, but thermal you understand also doesn't matter very much for wave. They are a bit separate. Yeah, that's how physics work. Chemistry not like that one. A few things are just zoom like that. Just continue like that. So in this holiday, I focus on two things. The critical topics, the one that you really have, usually in chem, and the future topics of physics. Suddenly, after you do all that with me, when you enter term 3, your physics and chemistry become stable just because of that. That is what we must aim for.
Sorry.
You're following the school like very stably. You're just doing homework easily because you're not experiencing a lot of problem. And then we take time to discuss the past because we are preparing for end of year. Not the other way around. We don't discuss the past first, and then we talk about the future because the past doesn't affect the future of physics too much. It's not a right order. That's what will happen in holiday. After holiday, we will follow your class and move slightly ahead. Something like that. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Yeah, she did. My chem teacher. Yeah, I think she skipped. What more or something.
Not good, not bad, but you have to be able to understand. It's just a must thing, like totally a must. And I guarantee you it will feature widely in the end of year, including acid and base, these two things. I think QA, you're going to experience QA, acid and base, and those three things we cover in a holiday. Then stability is what we're aiming for. I hope this makes some sense, Eben. I sometimes teach some students more than 2 subjects, and they're okay 1.5 hours. Why? Because if one subject is stable, it helps the subject which is not very stable. If your chemistry is already strong, I make it a little bit more stronger. Just dedicate a bit more time because you're already strong. A bit more time, your chemistry very stable. You find yourself not having, you don't really mind spending more time in physics. The reverse is of course true. I hope that makes some sense. That's how the tuition works. I don't say this slot, this subject, this week, this subject. We have to adapt to the needs of the subject and the needs of the person. I think that's just a better way of doing it. If you want a very structured class, some people like that, this is not the tuition for you. You must consider the more normal tuition, in the more in the kind of thing. Like, they're very structured one. Today we discuss this, that's it. Lor. Don't care what your school discuss, something like that. They also
Uh,
don't sync with your need, you get what I mean. They just don't do that. Of course, lah, it's structured. We we adapt here more, if that makes sense.
okay.
Any other question?
No other question.
Then Eben, again, student initiative, right? I hope you experience this a lot, even though I say a lot of things. A lot of the time, it's just me giving you the necessary information. You make the decision. If your decision is good, I tell you. If the decision is a bit bad, I also tell you, but it is still your decision. From simple things like, hey, what are we supposed to learn today? I'll tell you the pros and cons of learning this and that. Then you prioritize. Should we discuss homework today or should we discuss future exam? I'll tell you what's going to happen if you discuss this and that, something like that. Then you decide. Now, right now, the decision you need to make is you talk to your dad, look. You discuss whether you like it or not, and then I'll ask you, your dad, whether we should continue or not. Okay? Just tell him whatever you feel. Okay? That be okay?
Okay.
You don't owe me anything, okay? You do this trial doesn't mean you have to continue with this tuition. It's not, no, it doesn't work that way. Okay?
Okay.
So tell him, because if we continue, we'll start next week, holiday tuition. All right?
Okay.
See you.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.